Hi, my name is Calliope Salas, and I'm going to be looking at Catherine Opie for my presentation, and I'm sorry about my voice. I am recovering from the flu. Who is Catherine Opie? Catherine Opie is a contemporary American photographer who was born in 1961 in Sandusky, Ohio, and currently lives and works in Los Angeles, California. She is best known for her portrait photography and documentary-style images that capture people in their everyday lives. Throughout her career, Opie has explored themes of identity, community, gender, sexuality, and American culture. Much of her work focuses on LGBTQ+ communities and other unrepresented groups, giving visibility to people whose stories have often been overlooked or misunderstood. Her photographs challenge stereotypes and encourage viewers to question their assumptions about identity, gender, and representation. Through both intimate portraits and large-scale landscape photography, Opie examines what it means to belong and how communities are formed. Because of the impact of her work, she is widely considered one of the most influential contemporary photographers working today. I actually ended up choosing Catherine Opie because I was already familiar with her work, and I've even recreated one of her series before. During my undergraduate photography program, I had an assignment where I had to recreate the work of an artist that caught her attention, and I chose Opie's Being and Having series, which is the one I'll be talking about today. I know we're supposed to choose one image to discuss, but I decided to talk about Catherine Opie's Being and Having series as a whole because I don't think the photographs have the same impact individually. The meaning really comes from seeing all 13 portraits together and comparing them. At first glance, the series looks like 13 close-up portraits of men with different styles of facial hair against a bright yellow background. That was my first impression too. But once you learn more about the project, you realize that it's not actually what you're looking at. The people in the portraits are all friends of Catherine Opie who identify as lesbians or queer individuals. They're wearing fake mustaches, beards, and sideburns that Opie purchased from a wig shop in Hollywood. I separated the series into the different rows so we can take a closer look at each portrait individually. While the series is meant to be experienced as a whole, viewing the image this way makes it easier to notice each person's expression, pose, and unique features, as well as how Opie uses the same composition across every portrait. You can pause at each part to see if you want to spend a little more time looking at each image before we continue. What I find most interesting about this series is how it challenges the assumptions that we make based on appearance. Most people automatically assume the subjects are men because of the facial hair, but Opie intentionally plays with those expectations. The bright yellow background removes distractions and keeps all the focus on each person's face and expression, and this encourages viewers to question their first impression. Through Being and Having, Opie explores ideas of gender identity, gender expression, and the way society associates certain physical characteristics with masculinity. Looking at the portraits together allows you to both notice the similarities and differences between each individual, reinforcing the idea that identity is much more complex than outward appearance. Another reason why I decided to pick Opie's project is because I think Being and Having is an example of the queer gaze, because Catherine Opie photographs her friends with respect and authenticity, rather than trying to fit them into traditional ideas of masculinity or femininity, like in what we commonly see in art, the male gaze, which is photographs that are sexualized to objectify the subjects, and I really like how Opie does not do that. This series also makes viewers question their own appearance and their own gaze by revealing how easily we make assumptions about someone's gender based on appearance. This series reminds me, as a portrait photographer as well, the question that I always think of: can a photograph ever show someone's true identity, or does it always reflect our own assumptions as viewers, either as the artist or as the viewer of the art? Thank you so much for listening to my presentation on Catherine Opie and being and having.